curriculum and the subject matter curriculum. So we are starting our lesson today by looking at an activity-based curriculum or an experience curriculum. When we talk of the experience or activity-based curriculum, in a literal sense, we are talking about the kind of curriculum that is based on an experience of the learner and activity. A kind of curriculum that is based on an activity or experience of the learner. More or less, we are trying to talk about the fact that it is an approach where learning is centered around the student's activity, doing things rather than what? Passively listening. I am saying that when we talk about activity-based curriculum, it is a kind of curriculum that is based on experience of the learner or activities. Here, we are saying that it is whereby the learning is centered around the students and they are actively engaged in various things or activities rather than passively what? Listening. So it is based on the principle of learning by doing. The core idea is that the students understand and retain information better when they discover it through hands-on experience. So we can say that it is also a form of a curriculum that is based on hands-on experiences. What do we still mean? We are saying that the activity-based curriculum is a general term for all forms of curriculum that is structured in a flexible manner so that the experience of the children are consistent with the due principles of human development, with due principles of human development. So we are saying that activity-based curriculum is a kind that is structured in a flexible way and that is also based on the principles of human development. So what it means is that before such kind of curriculum is being developed, we look at the principles of development and consider the level of the learner. We consider the ability of the learner. We consider the developmental level of the learner in such a way that the curriculum is structured in line with these kind of principles. Else, we might develop the curriculum and might not be in line with the interest, the ability, or more or less the developmental level of the learner. Please, are we getting it? So, on the experience or activity-based curriculum, TABA 1992 says that the design of activity curriculum is structured specifically to counteract the passivity and sterility of learning and the isolation from the needs and interests of children of the conventional curriculum. So TABA has said that the activity-based curriculum was designed to counteract the conventional kind of curriculum. What is this conventional kind of curriculum? Conventional kind of a curriculum is a type that is based on distinct subjects, where knowledge is being divided into separate subjects like math, science, history, and other languages. Or it is also a kind that is teacher-centered or teacher-centered kind of instruction that at the end of the day, the teacher and the learner rely on what we call textbook. So because of the fact that the conventional kind of curriculum was the kind that did not take the interest of the learner into consideration, we thought it wise that when we design a kind of curriculum that would involve the interest of the learner, that will be full of activities, that will be based on the experience of the learner, that will be a hands-on kind of experience, then definitely the child will take interest in that, and the child would even find it easy to learn that particular kind of curriculum or perform well in that kind of what curriculum. So we are saying that the experience or the activity-based curriculum was designed to counteract the conventional kind of curriculum, and the conventional kind of curriculum promotes passive kind of learning, where the interest of the learner is being sterilized. Are you okay? Where the interest of the learner is not being taken into consideration. Where the interest of the learner is being more or less, the creativity of the learner is being more or less sidelined or is not being taken into consideration. So we introduce the experience or the activity-based curriculum in order to more or less do away with that conventional kind of curriculum. So an important feature of the experience curriculum is that the teacher serves as a curriculum facilitator. The teacher serves as what? A curriculum facilitator, but not an information giver. Now, let's look at some advantages of the experience or activity-based curriculum. Let me hear from you. Yes, Sandra. What are some advantages of the experience or activity-based curriculum? Sandra. Michael Asante.
I was saying,
Yeah. Based on the features and the definition that we have given on the experience or the activity-based curriculum, what do you think are some of the advantages? Or you didn't hear all that we have said about the activity-based curriculum? Yeah, Grace.
So please, learners are involved in the teaching learning process. Learners are involved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Mr. Ensu.
All right. Learners, just as my sister said, learners be very active, and then they will be contributing to their own learning once it is based on their experiences.
Yes. Yeah, Labi.
Yes, adding up to what my colleague said, because learners are deeply involved, all activities are centered around them. There is the development of practical skills in learning. So learners acquire practical skills which they are able to use in their real life situations. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so what we are treating today is a slide that I've termed it as patterns of curriculum. You have the slides. We have the slides. So visit it and have more knowledge on what we are looking at. So first advantage of the experience or the activity-based curriculum is that the child is allowed to use his or her own ingenuity in doing things. The child is being allowed to use his or her own ingenuity in doing things. So here what we mean is that the child is not being limited. The child is not being limited to some kind of principles and some kind of practices that it is compulsory to be followed. The child is being allowed to be inventive, okay? The child is being allowed to be more or less independent. The child is given that skill of problem solving. Are you okay? The child is being made to be original, original, and that would make that child an excellent child in terms of classroom learning, because the child is being involved in what we call hands-on. The child of the hand of the child is on the various things that they are supposed to do. Are you okay? So the child is being involved in various kind of activities, and for that matter, they are able to learn better, because learning is based on some kind of what? Practicals. Then the second point is also that the problem-solving method employed provides students with the skills needed to cope effectively with the challenges outside what? The school. Because of the fact that the activity-based curriculum or the experience-based curriculum make use of the problem-solving technique. At the end of the day, that child will be able to function in the real world, because the child has been involved in various activities in the classroom where he or she is made to solve problems. So when he get to the real world situation or in his future life, he will be able to what? Able to employ such kind of skills that are used in the classroom in the future what? World. Then the third advantage is that this curriculum design fits so well at primary school, with a natural tendency in children to learn through what? Play and manipulate of what? Objects. You see, at the basic school level, normally the lower primary, where the attention span of the learner is too low or is so low, we have to involve the learner in several kind of activities where the learner can manipulate objects. The learner can do a whole lot of things that will make him or her happy. So when or if we want to use a kind of a method or technique that would go well with learners with a low attention span or at the lower level, then the activity-based curriculum is a way to go. The fourth point is also that it also makes it easy for individual learners to have time to focus on issues in which they are particularly interested. You see, activity-based curriculum is based on the interest of the learner. They are based on the things that the learner would want to learn. And as we have already indicated, when learners are interested in whatever that is being taught in the classroom, they involve in that kind of activities or such kind of scenarios and situations well, and they learn better. So we are saying that here the learners will become more focused because they are learning things that are of a great interest to them. Now let's look at some disadvantages of the experience-based curriculum. Disadvantages of the experience-based curriculum. Yeah, let me hear from you. Osman, give us one of the disadvantages of the activity-based curriculum. Yeah, Maswell. Osman. Raymond. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So one of the disadvantages is time consuming. You will need to spend a lot of time in order to be able to successfully deliver such a lesson.
Why is it that it is time consuming? Why is it time
Like
consuming? A bit.
as an activity based, when you want to involve all learners in the activities, you definitely will spend a lot of time in engaging all of them in the activity.
Okay, so that is definitely true because with the activity-based curriculum, students have to manipulate the items that might be found in the classroom or that might be used so that they will be able to understand. So as they manipulate with such kind of materials and tools, it would delay time or it would consume time. Still on time consuming. How? Yeah. Still on time consuming. How?
So still on the time consuming,
Okay.
the
Come
teacher
here.
will also need to spend a lot of time in planning the lesson, in getting the teaching learning materials available and testing them before going into the classroom.
Yes. Because here we are looking at the pace of what delivery or discovery. You know that the core of this method is letting students figure things out for themselves. They have to explore, they have to try their hands, and they have to done it in a slower manner, in a natural sense. Are you there? You have to help them to correct their answers in a way. Then the teacher has to prepare some kind of logistics in order to make such kind of activities more fruitful in the classroom. He might to distribute some kind of materials and a whole lot of things. Then the teacher should guide the learner also to have a depth, form of knowledge and a breadth kind of knowledge on whatever that might be learned in the classroom. So if the teacher has to go by all these things that I've mentioned, then definitely it would consume time. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next disadvantage. Yes, Sandra. Sandra, is your hand up?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So please, it is difficult to design the curriculum due to the experiences of learners from different backgrounds.
Yes, learners come from different background, so that creates what we call individual differences. So the individual differences here has to do with the experiences of the learners. And if you are to factor all the experiences of the various learners that might be in a particular class, before that we will be successful in our instruction. Or if we have to design that kind of activity, we need to consider all the interest of people or all the interest of learners in a particular country. Then it will take ages before we are able to design the activity or the curriculum. So it is true. Next point, Alfred or Samuel. Yeah, Samuel.
It leads to imbalance of equal attention or participation. That is,
Why?
it takes way for students who are outspoken or have that more confidence to take dominance of the class. So if you the teacher does not take, you be putting more of your attention on the students who are always coming out, leaving the students who are not able to contribute well in the class.
Your network is not stable, so it is giving us a feedback. Your network. I didn't hear what you.
Assembly is okay now.
I didn't hear what you read.
So I was saying
It's a bit
that
okay. So
it leads to an imbalanced participation or an unequal participation. That is, it paves way for students who are more outspoken to take dominance of the class, leaving those who are less participants to coil back. Or you, the teacher, might not notice those who are not participating well in the class.
Sammy,
Sir.
I think you have to come again because activity based, it is hands-on. So all the learners will be able to lay their hands on whatever that is being raised in the class. So because that they have been given opportunity to manipulate figures, okay,
Yes, sir.
materials, tools, and equipments. In what way do you think that others might be left out? Okay, so come again. Yeah. Another hand was up. Yeah, you can talk. Raymond, is that you? Maxwell.
Okay, so
Yes,
so
sir.
you
Yes, sir. Please, what? Okay.
Maxwell or
okay,
Raymond?
so
Who?
okay, Maxwell is on floor, sir.
Okay.
So you realize that because it is activity based, it is more or less resource intensive,
Okay.
and that will mean that more facilities, more equipment, more materials are needed. That makes
Okay.
it quite expensive. So it's quite expensive as compared to the other types of curriculum. Thank you.
Yes, that is true. That is true. That is true. So it is expensive because the materials that are involved will cost the designers a great amount of money. And sometimes if they do not have such kind of monies or resource, it would affect the development of the curriculum. It is expensive, it is true. But a lot of materials are involved. You can still add more. The disadvantages, add more. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. I just want to add a point to the point he just raised about the cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even aside the materials you will need, sometimes some of the things that the learners will need to interact with, it cannot be brought to the class, but rather they will need to visit, like in the case of embarking on a field trip, and which
Okay.
most students are not able to even get the money that they will pay in order to embark on the field trip. So the cost-wise is really a problem.
Thank you. Yeah, Frempong.
Okay,
You
sir.
still want to?
So
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
the point that I raised, the unequal
Mm-hmm.
participation. You see, in activity based, mostly students work in groups,
Mm-hmm.
and what I meant was that in such situations, if you the teacher does not take care, you see that the students who are having the high IQ will take dominance of the whole activity. So during the presentation, you might fall on only those who are the good ones or who are outspoken, and might
Okay.
assume that everybody has understood what you are is going on or have you've taught. So that was what it was.
Okay. But don't forget that it's the hands-on kind of curriculum. Hands-on kind of curriculum. So you shouldn't also forget it. Thank you very much. Yeah, what are some other disadvantages that we have not talked about? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can we say that if care is not taken, the main objective of the curriculum might be tilted or it might go other way, since every activity is left to the learners.
Okay. So I think that will come under our last point. That is, when learners are allowed to follow their interest, it could lead to excessive permissiveness on the part of what? A laissez-faire teacher. So here
Okay.
we are looking at a situation whereby when the teacher is not able to monitor the situation or the performance of the various activities, it would degenerate into another venture, okay, where maybe the learners will be given too much kind of permissiveness and they will do whatever that they like. If really we have to follow the interest of the learners. Okay, so a laissez-faire teacher is a teacher that would give total freedom to the learners. For that matter, his contribution on such kind of curriculum might be less. If that is the case, there will be less or little monitoring of the learners. So it can lead to excessive permissiveness, which might not lead to the achievement of the objective of the curriculum. So thank you very much. Yeah, more to that. There are more to that. So let's finish it. Raymond.
One other disadvantage could also be the assessment. Assessment becomes difficult. In the sense that in a group activity, for instance, for you to assess individual contributions to the group activity can be that difficult, and then it may lead to a teacher having bias.
Okay, if care is not taken.
Yeah.
So another point is also that because the curriculum is too flexible, okay, more flexible administrators and teachers would be needed for successful operation of the program of this type. That is where you were saying it would let the designers incur a lot of what cost. It is flexible kind of activity. For that matter, we might need more flexible administrators and teachers. If that is not attained, then the curriculum might not achieve its aim. And as we do that, it would incur a huge sum of cost on the designers. Then another point is also that making learners the focus of action. Making learners the focus of action. Opportunities are lost to impact the wisdom of the early to young learners. So if the rationale behind this kind of curriculum focuses on the actions of the learner, then we would not have the opportunity to impact the wisdom of the elderly to the young learners, because it's based on the interest of the learners. So the accumulated wisdom, okay, in the various generation can never be impacted in the learners, because it's based on the learners' interest. So the traditions, the culture, the change of attitudes, and those things that are so important that should have been impacted in the younger ones might not be there, because it is only on the interest of the learners. Please, are you okay? Is there any advantage or disadvantage of the activity-based curriculum that we have not mentioned? If we have mentioned all, let's move on to the last. If we have mentioned all, let's move on to the last pattern of curriculum organization or design, and that is integrated curriculum. Integrated curriculum. So based on the patterns of curriculum organization or curriculum design, we have what we call integrated curriculum. What is integrated curriculum? Okay. Bishop 1985 defined curriculum integration as regrouping of ideas and knowledge between subjects so as to provide a new intellectually repeatable curriculum. So when we are able to bring together ideas and knowledge of the various subjects so that we are able to produce a worldwide kind of curriculum, a curriculum that is well respected, a curriculum that could help to solve a problem. Then we are talking about integrated curriculum. I am saying that integrated curriculum is a type of curriculum that is able to regroup ideas and knowledge between different subjects so as to provide a worthwhile and repeatable curriculum page. So here we would pick the various social studies subject areas like geography, economics, history, and others. Then the ideas will be borrowed from all those subject areas. Are you okay? So that at the end of the day, we are able to produce a worthwhile kind of curriculum because of the fact that various ideas are brought from different perspectives, different domains, or different subjects or fields. So that would give us a new intellectually repeatable curriculum. So social studies, for instance, have economics, geography, history, sociology, and other related subjects as its foundation courses. So when we pick social studies, we have economics being part of it, geography being part of it, sociology is there, and history is there. So all these subjects that I've mentioned are the foundational courses of social studies. So when we are able to borrow ideas, principles, generalizations, and terminologies from all these subject areas and bring them together, we are able to develop a kind of a curriculum that is effective and worthwhile and can help us to solve the problems of humanity or mankind. So now let's look at some advantages of the integrated curriculum. Let's look at some of them. Let me hear from you. Auntie Grace. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Can we say that it gathers information from various perspectives or various aspects or various fields?
And so if it does that, what is the advantage of that?
Oh, okay. So learners will it will be an opportunity for learners to see knowledge as a whole and not as from one perspective, but the whole.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know whether you've been introduced to integration in social studies. You see, social studies as a subject is integrated. So the foundation of social studies is integration, or the bedrock of social studies is integration. That is why I said we have economics in social studies, we have geography in social studies, we have history in social studies, then we have that of sociology in social studies. So when we used the integrated curriculum, okay, it will provide learners the various opportunities to see knowledge as an integrated whole, to see knowledge in a holistic manner, but not in a disjointed or compartmentalized form. Because young people at the formative years of their life cannot put knowledge into various forms or discrete forms, but they look at knowledge in the form of what? A whole or one. So it is based on this that the subject social studies is based on the Gestalt psychology, which looks at knowledge in a holistic manner, but not in a what? A compartmentalized or disjointed form. That holistic manner is HOLISTIC, holistic, but we mean a whole, something in its full form, but not in what? In a disjointed or in a compartmentalized form. Please, are you people there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are here.
That is very important. Okay, let's move on to the next advantage of integrated curriculum. Yeah, Rich.
Hello, sir.
Richard Adinkra, yeah. Or who? Asante, Michael.
Hello, sir. So I'll
Yeah,
add that
Michael.
it helps the learners. It helps the learners to select their choice of course in the studies.
Okay, so you said choice of course in the studies or what? What? I didn't hear.
It helps the learner to select their choice of studies in the various courses.
Okay, so you want to say integration promotes specialization, isn't it?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So he's saying that integration would promote specialization. As the students learn various subjects in social studies, at the end of the day, they would able to know where they are able to do well, where they have their interest, where they are able to excel well, where they are able to maybe understand well, and at the end of the day, in their future life, they concentrate on such kind of areas and they become specialists in such areas. Okay, next.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir.
yeah, Sandra.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sir,
Sandra.
okay.
Yeah.
So please, I also say that integrated curriculum motivates learners to learn.
Yeah, it also motivates learners to learn. In what sense? How does it motivate learners to learn?
So please, they are because they are able to select the kind of subjects they want. So through that selection of the subjects, maybe learner can uh, the learner can select maybe economics or any kind of subject as his or her mind major subjects, and maybe that's what he or she uh, understand best. I don't know if I'm making any idea.
So may I come in here to help my sister?
Hello,
Okay,
sir.
so this,
Hello, sir.
please put up your hand. If you don't put up your hand and you just raise your voice like that, it distracts
John
the
has
whole
raised his
thing.
hand.
Yeah, okay. So talk on that same point. We are on the point raised by our sister.
So like what
Yeah.
he was saying, the integration helps a particular learner to focus on a major subject. Since the same thing will be taught in different subjects, you can simply integrate it to the major one that you have selected and it makes learning
Okay.
easier. Because the same item that is being taught has been discussed under different fields, where you can simply do transfer of learning or transfer of ideas into what you have selected as the major subject. So we are saying that integration will make learning easier because we can simply do transfer of learning into the topics or into the subject of the major field that you want to major in. I think that was what
Yes.
you were trying to say. Correct.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you. So we are saying that integration, okay, would motivate learners to learn because what they learn, whatever that they learn, are connected. Okay. It helps students to learn actively or effectively by making learning more meaningful and connected to their real world. Instead of maybe seeing subjects like mathematics and history as separate, okay, students might see knowledge in the form of a whole, a form of some kind of togetherness. Are you okay? See knowledge in the form of one. Because what that they learn seem to be connected, thereby making learning more relevant and easy to understand. Are you okay? Focusing on critical thinking, deeper understanding, and also making learning more relevant. That is why it enhances learning. My good friends, are you there? Okay, if you are there, let's move on to the next point here. Next person. If you have any point to raise, permission granted. Put up your hand. Yeah, Maxwell Labi.
Yes, I would also say that it also helps reduce repetition
Yes.
because sometimes overlapping topics are taught together, saving time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So it reduces redundancy. It reduces what? Redundancy or repetition of what? Same concept. When ideas are borrowed from the various foundational courses of social studies, we would teach them together as one, and we shall not revisit those kind of concepts in their respective subject areas. So it avoids some kind of redundancies and repetition of some kind of concepts. Yeah, Kudo.
So please, it develops problem solving and critical thinking skills as well.
Problem solving and critical thinking, in what sense, Auntie?
Okay, in the sense that if the person is able to get the knowledge of a particular subject in a particular class, he or she is able to transfer those knowledges to the other subjects as well.
Yes.
That's what I have to say.
Yes. So we want to say that for you to integrate, you should able to understand the concept generalization principles from different other subject areas and know how that they are interconnected. If you don't understand those things, then it will be very difficult for you to integrate. So as you are trying to understand the concept from the various subjects, looking at the relationship and the connection between them, are you okay? Then it promotes that critical thinking. Promote that critical thinking. And even that motivation to learn. Because you see piece of information as one and being connected. Yeah, John.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I will also say, when we say social studies is integrated in the curriculum aspect, since it is an integrated, it means that various subjects will be learned through the integration side. So I
Yes.
would say that as a student, through the help of social studies, let me just put it that way, the integration aspect, when I fetch myself into other subjects, I will not find it difficult because the curriculum of social studies will help me to gain another knowledge of other aspects, which will help me to switch well in any aspect that I find myself as a social studies student.
Yeah, that's why we spoke about the motivation to learn.
Yeah.
Motivation to learn. Yeah. Is it any other one that we have not mentioned? Is there a motivative mechanism for dealing with a knotty problem that defies solution in a single subject area? What are we saying here? You see, integration, we draw ideas, generalization, and principles from different subject areas. If that be the case, then when it comes to the solving of a problem, we would able to solve it in a simple manner because we are coming from different perspectives to solve the problem. So difficult problems or knotty problems that a single subject areas would find it difficult to solve, with the use of integration, we would able to solve it because we come from different perspectives, different domains, different angles in addressing whatever challenge or the problem that we would encounter. Are you okay? Okay, now let's look at the disadvantages of the integrated curriculum. Yeah. Maxwell. Or it's not Maxwell. The disadvantages of the integrated. Hey, EMS, basic, abeg, mute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, John.
Hello, sir. Yes. Sorry, I was a bit late, but I will also say that with integration, it broadened the minds of the individual. And with this, he or she will not be limited to one access, since he or she learned the integrating aspect. When it comes to other subjects, he will not be limited because he might have a fair idea somewhere to reply or to apply in solving that problem that he or she encountered.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sir John. Maxwell, do you still want to add up?
No, sir.
Okay, so now let's look at the disadvantages of the integrated curriculum. Disadvantages of the integrated curriculum. One, okay. Integrated curriculum is believed to make learners shallow-minded. Shallow-minded. Why? Because per integration, we would borrow from different subject areas, and we would not have in-depth basis or in-depth understanding, or we will not go deep into those areas that we borrow and integrate in whatever big subjects that they will come under or they come to add up. Are we making sense here? You are learning geography in history. You are learning economics in social studies. You are learning history in social studies, geography in social studies. You are borrowing and bring them under a larger subject, social studies. But at the end of the day, the knowledge that you come to add up, you will not have a detailed understanding of it, or you can't go into detail of such kind of knowledge that you come to add up. So at the end of the day, you become a shallow-minded as an individual. Because when we pick that of the single subjects like history, those that are into history would have a deep understanding. They will have they will go deep and have a greater insight in such kind of subject areas. But as you are borrowing, you seem to become a jack of all trade by a master of none. You become a jack of all trades by the master of what? None. You just borrow, add up, borrow, add up. But the knowledge that you have on such subject areas will be superficial, or shallow. You would look at the surface understanding, or you get the surface meaning of such subject areas. That is why I'm saying you behave like a jack of all trades, but a master of what? None. Are you okay with that point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the next is that lack of resource for integrated teaching represents a serious drawback. We are talking about integration. Okay. But what I've realized is that most of the resources that are developed in the single subject lines, are developed based on the single subject curriculum or separate subject curriculum. The resources that are developed are not being developed in an integrated manner. So this represents a serious drawback. I wish the materials, tools, and equipment that will be used in teaching the integrated curriculum are developed in an integrated manner, but they are being developed by following the single subject lines or curriculum. So at the end of the day, we are unable to secure various kind of material that have been designed in an integrated manner, which can be used to support the recommended or the written curriculum. Okay. Then it also calls, the third point is also that it calls for flexibility in the school organization. It calls for what? Flexibility in the school organization. And it is a disadvantage. Why do you think that this serve as a disadvantage? Why? Did you get the point?
Please say, you repeat it for us, please.
We are saying that integrated curriculum calls for flexibility in school organization. And how does that serve as a disadvantage? Yeah. Who? Or nobody's ready?
So it's in the network, so I couldn't hear the question again, please.
You heard it, pa. You heard it. Okay, we are saying that integrated curriculum calls for flexibility in the school organization. How does this serve as a disadvantage of the curriculum? Have you heard it now?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. This is what we mean. You see, integration would demand that we make some kind of adjustment in the school arrangement. In the school what? In the school arrangement. Okay. So one, we know that in the conventional schools, as I already indicated, as I mentioned, conventional curriculum, where I said it is teacher-centered, it is based on the single subject approach and a whole lot of things as a conventional school. Okay. So if we are to employ integrated curriculum, it will bring some kind of what conflict in the conventional school. Okay. As already the timetable is being prepared in such a way that we make use of what? The single subject approach. So if we have to go by integration, then there will be the need, okay, to make some kind of blocks. There will be a need to combine some kind of blocks on the school timetable. Because if a particular subject, there's a geography in it, there is history in it, there is economics in it, it could happen that we can't use a single period to handle those kind of subjects. We have to maybe expand the block that is being used in teaching that particular kind of subject. Apart from that, it also demands that teachers are being taught, teachers are being upgraded, teachers should be made to receive some kind of workshops, or they embark on some kind of further studies so as to be able to teach the integrated what? Curriculum. Else they might not able to function well. Are you okay? When it comes to the administrative structure of the school, the entire system from the teachers, are you okay? The entire system from how the teachers are certified, how they get some kind of certificate in teaching those things. That is where I was saying that they should be made to upgrade and update, also engage in further studies to do maybe new programs on how to do the integration so that they will be able to function well in the system. So this call for some kind of what? Flexibility in the school organization. How the school has to be organized, we have to make it flexible so that at the end of the day, this kind of curriculum can function well. Please, are we making sense here?
Question.
Yeah, oh boy.
If the school is made flexible, as you were explaining that teachers need to go through various in-service trainings, adjustment need to be made on timetable and all that.
Yes.
Isn't it rather going to help the teacher and the learner? And if it's going to help the teacher and the learner, isn't that an advantage instead of it being an advantage? Thank you.
Get the point well. A call for flexibility in the school organization. As you are there, as in your school where, okay, now you teach whatever, maybe geography, you teach economics, you teach history and others. So if there is a need for us to maybe teach all these subjects as a one particular course or subject, and in teaching that we'll call for some kind of changes in the timetable. We need teachers to be upgraded, teachers pursue further courses so that they can be certified where they will possess the right kind of knowledge to teach a particular subject. Don't you think it would frustrate teachers? It would pressure teachers? It would stress teachers? Even flexibility in the school organization, it would take time before teachers would adjust to it. Don't you think it would be disadvantageous than that of advantageous?
Say it will, please.
Yes. So that is where we are taking it from. Also, yeah, can become when you go read and add more. Yes, Salamatu. Salah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please do. Her explanation you just gave. Can you also say that it's time consuming as an disadvantage?
Technology can be time consuming. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So, my good friends, yeah, Becca has just joined. John,
Hello, sir.
bring your question and let's
Hello, sir.
progress from this level.
Based on what you are just saying, something just came to my mind that even with the integration nature, the one disadvantage is that the teacher who is also even teaching that subject may not have all the in-depth knowledge.
Yes.
Because let's say I'm teaching economics, maybe I'm well versed in economics, but let's say in geography I'm not. But because of the integration nature, some topics I'll be dodging them in the classroom.
Yes, they will check them. They will run away from the subject. They will not teach them. They will be silent on such kind of areas.
Yes.
That's why for them to teach them better, they have to engage themselves in maybe further programs or engage themselves in some kind of workshops and some other things, which teachers will not feel well. Yes, teachers will not feel well.
Yes.
So that is why I am saying that it caused some kind of flexibility in the school organization. That flexibility is what we are saying, that it will not come just like that. People have to suffer before it would happen, and people will not take it easy. So thank you very much. So now we are done with that slice. It's a full slice, full slice that contains maybe 2 units. But because we mentioned them as part of as part of unit 1, that's why I have merged that to that of what? Unit 1. So we have covered that one. We will not revisit it again. So now let's look at
it.
Yes, I've done that.
And I hope the slides will be shared to us, please, sir.
You have it too. I did that. I think last 3 days. So what I have presented,
some of us, we are new to you. We are new to you. We are from Tamale Central. We don't have settings, so.
Okay. I beg. When we are done, they will do that. I am not on that online page that you have been talking about.
All right.
I am with the Sunyoy and the Riverview. So.
And I enjoy your class, so I will join you all time.
Yeah. So I beg.
Hello, sir.
You talk to those in Sunyoy and that of the Riverview and get the slides. Yeah, my good friend, talk.
So please, last week you promised to add the advantages and then the disadvantages. You promised to give us the slides, but I see you don't have it. Thank you.
It is there. That is the patterns of curriculum design. Haven't you gotten a slide that is termed patterns of the curriculum design?
So we have it, but the advantages and then the disadvantages are not part.
My good friend, they are all part. Oh, is that not what I'm presenting? All those things that I'm raising, I'll put it on your page. You just open to the slides termed patterns of curriculum design. They are there. Michael, John, Dauda.
Hello, sir.
Any problem? Yeah. Your hands are
patterns of curriculum development.
Design.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Have you seen it? So visit the page. It is there. Those in Sunyoy and Riverview. It is on your page. I beg, push it to the other online groups. Okay, so now let's move on to the second unit, that is lecture 2A. Lecture 2A. Principles and practice of curriculum and instruction. Lecture 2. Have you seen that? That has to do with the curriculum model. Curriculum models. Are you there? The one that I've termed lecture 2A or lecture 2. We are looking at the curriculum model. Go there. Yeah, Michael.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Michael.
Say, please, respectfully, can you share your screen with us, please?
I can't do that. Okay. So you have the material. You have the material. I have traveled them somewhere. That is why even sometimes you hear some kind of background. I am also doing the same exercise that has been given by UCC. So I'm somewhere.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Please, all those who have not received this thing should send me hi right now. My number is on this screen. Send me hi WhatsApp and let me see right now, please.
You have the slides. So why are you talking about sharing of screen again? You have it. If I were you, okay, if I were you, I would just print the slides that I have been given, so that when we are at lecture, then you'll be following what that you have printed. So as I am explaining them, then you are jotting and adding some kind of piece to whatever that you have printed. If you want to go by whereby you read everything on your phone, you read everything from your phone, then you will not able to get whatever that we raise here. Print them. Okay, those that are doing some with and others, when we come, we print some kind of materials and give it to them. They buy it. You are not buying. You are not buying. So print whatever that you have, so that you'll be following that one as we are presenting, and you'll be adding some kind of details that we add to whatever information that we have prepared. Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
So we are looking at the curriculum model. Curriculum model. You see, this course is curriculum studies in social studies. So one day, when you become a specialist in a curriculum, okay, you can be asked to design a curriculum for a group. And for that matter, you should now know what we call models of what curriculum development. There are a lot of proponents, there are a lot of designers that have come out with several kind of curriculum models. And it is through these models that we are able to develop a curriculum. So they give us some kind of framework, they give us some kind of roadmaps that we have to follow when we are designing a curriculum. So such are what that we are going to look at some of them, so that in future, when you are being asked to design or develop a curriculum, you could use any of the models, or you can use any of them as a guide in order to what? Develop them. Please, are you there? So what is a model? What is a model in a simple sense?
Sir, please, a guide or a framework to something, or that helps to do something.
Okay. Okay, so in a simple, to make it simple, okay, we say a curriculum model is a detailed strategy that outlines the steps that have to be followed in order to achieve a particular kind of what? Goal. It is a detailed what? Strategy that outlines the various steps that have to be followed so that you can realize a particular kind of what? A goal. Or we are saying that a curriculum model is a set of actions that is put in place by a specialist in education as a guide for instructors. So this is a set of actions that can be used as a guide to develop a curriculum. So for instance, if you want to develop a curriculum, the kind of framework, the kind of steps, the kind of roadmap that you will follow in order to develop the curriculum is what we call the curriculum model. So a lot of people have come out with some of these guides that we could follow when we are developing a curriculum. They include Tyler, Wheeler, and that of Taba. We have Kerr model, Kerr model, and some others. Please, are you there? Okay, so now, the first curriculum model that we are going to talk about is Tyler's model of curriculum planning or designing. So according to Tyler, there are some kind of steps that we have to follow. There is a framework that should be served as a guide when developing a particular curriculum or when you are undertaking a particular instruction. So let's take our time and digest into the Tyler's model of curriculum development or curriculum planning. So the Tyler's model of curriculum designing is based on 4 important questions. What we are talking about is lecture 2. Lecture 2. It is the second slide. It is the second slide that I gave to you. The second slide that I gave to you. So visit it. I am saying that the Tyler's model of curriculum development is based on 4 important questions. What are they? 1. What educational purpose should the school seek to attain? 2. What educational experiences can be provided that are likely to attain these purposes? 3. How can these educational experiences be effectively organized? Then 4. How can we determine whether these purposes are being attained? So the first question will give us the first phase of the Tyler's model. And please, what is the first phase of his model? Tell me. Rebecca.
Is it objective?
Yes, Selena.
The first phase of Tyler's whole question is educational purpose. Am I right, sir? So am I right?
No, such are the
No,
questions. Such are the questions. I said the models, okay, the phases of the models are based on 4 important questions.
Sir. Hello,
Sir,
sir.
please, we have the objectives.
Sir, that is the
So the
objective.
first phase is objective.
Yes, sir.
Selena, when we were talking about the various components of the curriculum, did you pay attention?
Sir, I just got to my page, and so I didn't see the structure that you were talking about. I've just seen it.
Yes.
So I've seen the first
So
one as the objective, and then I'll continue.
yes. So what I'm saying is that the phases of his model, okay, are based on 4 important questions. So the questions are those that I have read over there. So the answers to the questions are 1, educational purpose, 2, educational experience, then 3, educational experience organized effectively, and the 4th, determine whether these purposes have been attained. So let's pick the models. Sorry, let's pick the phases one after the other and look at them. So go down there. Go down there. You see Tyler's planning model 1949. So in a simple test question, you can be asked to describe the phases of Tyler's model. I am saying that in a simple test question, you can be asked to describe the phases of what? Tyler's model. And the phases are 1, objectives, 2, selecting learning experience, then the third one is organizing learning experience, then 4, evaluation of students' what? Performance. What do we mean by all these things that we are talking about? Okay. He meant that when you are designing a curriculum, the first phase of it should be objective, according to him. I am not saying it. That is what he has come out with. He said when you are designing or developing a curriculum, the first phase should be called objectives. So people call his model as what? An objective-based model. Objective-based model because it starts with what? Objective. So the question that we were asking, what educational goals should the school seek to attain? That when you are designing a curriculum and you put objective as the first phase, then you ask yourself, what do you want the people that go through that curriculum to achieve? What is the intention behind the development of the curriculum? Hence the first phase, objectives. Okay. Then there is a part, pay attention. That's why I'm saying you should have your printed material so that as we move on, you add something. There's something that has not been added here. I am going to raise them. Right after the objectives, you will see sources of objectives. They are not there. But Tyler said that when you are stating the objectives should be developed from certain sources. So the sources include 1, the teacher, sorry, the sources include 1, the society, 2, the student or the learner, then 3, that of what? That of the subject. Where are you coining the objective from? Where are you developing the objective from? What is the basis of the objective? So he mentioned that the objective should have sources. The sources include 1, the society, 2, the student, and 3, the subject. What do we mean by the society I was talking about? Tyler said that curriculum is being developed to affect the society. So we have to consider the needs, the aspiration, the practices, and the problems of the society. It is through these things that the objective should be based upon. Because when you are designing when you are designing a curriculum and you don't consider the needs of the society, the problems that we face, the aspiration of it, and throughout that objective, you are able to coin some kind of objectives. How are you going to use the objective of that particular curriculum so that the problems of the society, the needs of the people can be met? That is why he stated the society as one of the sources of the objective. Then the second one has to do with what? The student. Okay. So the student who has to receive the body of knowledge, who would go out there one day and cause the change, should also be factored, should be considered before we set any objective of that particular curriculum that we want to design. So the kind of knowledge that the child has to obtain, who has to provide the child that kind of knowledge? It is the various institutions like UCC, various institutions like UUW. They have to develop the right kind of information where the child can obtain them and able to use that kind of information to cause the change. So how can they prepare the kind of knowledge that will cause the learner to change the environment in which he or she comes from? It means that the various universities have to involve some kind of experts in education who have the expertise, who have the know-how, and can come out with the various kind of knowledge that when the students obtain them, it would cause the students to change, and that change would also reflect in the society of the students. That is why the students has to be considered. Then the last has to do with what? The subject. Last has to do with what? The subject. So here we are saying that the subject that has to be taught is also very important, because the subject has to contain the ideas that has to do with the principles, the methods, and strategies that can be used to impact whatever knowledge into what? Into the learner, so as to cause the change in the society. They are also under the objectives. So all those things that I'm talking about, they are still under the objectives. So Tyler also said that if we have to consider the various sorts of objectives based on 3 things that I mentioned, then it means that the objective will be what? Will be more than necessary, will be many. So the objectives that will be considered from the various sources have to be screened. The objectives have to be what? Screened. Or the objectives have to be what? Sieved. Such general objectives have to be sieved. What can we use to sieve the objectives that could be obtained from the various sources? That is the subject, the learner, and that of what? The society. It will be sieved by the use of what we call philosophy of education and psychology of learning. So when we make use of the psychology of learning and philosophy of education, we would able to see the various sources of objectives, so that at the end of the day, the general objective can be what? Can be reduced to that of what? Specific objective. Please, am I making sense? Am I making sense, my good friends?
Yes, sir, please.
Please, on the concept of the subject.
Yeah.
Consider the subject. I don't know whether you can re-echo that one for us again, please.
Okay. So on the aspect of the subject, this is what we are saying. We are saying that the role of the subject as a source of national educational objective is linked with the students and that of the establishment of educational institutions of the various types. So in each institution, there is a need to identify the requisite subject which will be helpful in producing the right type of student to ultimately perform the various roles in the nation. So the question then arises, who decide on the appropriate subject areas for the various institutions? Subject area specialists can be called upon to offer expertise, advice. In addition, it may be necessary to gather information from academic and educationists, as well as education administrators, through either the use of questionnaires or opinionaires. Please, are you okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. If you have gotten the concept well, we want to say that that objective you see up there as the first phase of his model is general objectives. But we are saying that the objective should have sources. We should deduce the objective from some sources, and the sources include the society, the student, and that of what? The subject. And we are saying that if we are to deduce the objective from those sources, then the objective will be numerous. For that matter, we have to screen the objectives. What can we use to screen the objective? We said the use of what? Psychology of education, psychology of learning, and philosophy of education. So when you go read what we mean by psychology of learning and philosophy of education, these are the two important screens that we can use to sieve the objective. What is the essence of sieving the objective? What is the essence of using the two screens to sieve the objective? So that we can turn the general objective into a specific or a precise objective, or to get a sizable number of objectives that would, at the end of the day, cause the learner to change the society or the community in which he or she finds himself. The second phase is selecting learning experiences. Selecting what? Learning experience. So the question is, how can learning experience be selected, which are likely to be useful in attaining these objectives? So already, according to Tyler, we have the objective and the objective from the various sources. Then now, what do you think are some learning experiences that can be selected so that at the end of the day, it would help us to realize the objective up there? Do you get it? So for instance, you are a teacher. Okay, you have written maybe 3 or 4 objectives to guide your lesson. At the end of the day, what do you think are some of the activities that you perform? What do you think are some of the circumstances that you create? What do you think are some kind of methods that you use? What do you think are some kind of procedures that you use in order to achieve the objectives set up there? That is what we mean by selecting learning experience. So the learning experience has to do with the interaction that occur between learners, or the interaction that occur between the teacher and the learners, and the external conditions of the environment in which the student can react. So for instance, if per your lesson you have stated that the learner will be able to define the concept responsibility, what do you think is the kind of activity? What do you think is the kind of scenario? What do you think is the kind of circumstance? What do you think is the kind of method that you could use so that at the end of the day, that objective can be realized? That is what we call the learning experience. So the circumstance that I created, you could say that teacher guides the learners through brainstorming. Teacher guides the learners through brainstorming to come out with the meaning of responsibility. That is what we call the learning experience. Pay attention, because at the end of the day, this course will help and improve how that you design your instruction in the classroom. If you will able to cause a change in the learner, if you will able to make your knowledge or your message attractive in your classroom, it depends upon how you follow this thing that we are talking about here. Why is that in church? When you are being told that this particular person will be the preacher in the next Sunday, you go to the church and the church is full. On the other hand, sometimes when you hear somebody is going to preach in a particular Sunday, you go and the church is almost empty, because that person cannot design a message that will be attractive, thereby a lot of people will want to come to church and benefit out of that. Likewise, when you are not able to understand things that we are talking about here, you can't design your instructions in such a way that the message that you give to the learners will become attractive. And for that matter, if even you are not in class, they will miss you. Why is it that when you have the chance to be taught by some lectures, even on this online session, always you want to meet them? Why? Please, have you understood the second phase, which is selection of learning experience? If you have done, let me hear from you.
That means your network is not stable.
Is there?
Network. The line
Yeah,
My
and
network,
network is not stable. It is breaking.
my network is breaking.
Yes, sir, at a point we feel breakages. When you were explaining the learning experience, now it's okay. But at the point we feel breakages.
So you want it to be taken again?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
probably, sir.
Okay. As I have already informed you, I am not at where I normally present from. UCC has sent us, so we are in Sunyani now. Okay, so I am not enjoying the stable network that I used to, and I still don't have an excuse to say that I am not at where I normally present from, so I wouldn't teach today. Okay, so just manage with it. So I am saying that when we talk about the learning experience, we are talking about the various activities, we are talking about various circumstances, we are talking about various scenarios, we are talking about the methods that can be employed by the teacher so that it would help the learners
Hello, sir.
achieve. Yeah,
Please, it's still breaking on.
it is so breaking.
Yes, please.
And the network, I see that everything is also there. So I am something. Okay, let me.
It's not clear.
It's now okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe my network is afraid of learning experience. So let me jump to the next one. Okay, so I'm saying that when we talk of the learning experience, we are talking about the kind of activities, the kind of circumstances, the kind of scenarios, the kind of methods, okay, that the teacher can use in order to help the learners realize the objectives that have been stated above. So in your classroom, if you have stated your objective, what are some activities? What are some circumstances? What are some methods that you can use so that at the end of the day, the objective can be what? Can be achieved. So for instance, talking about the learning experiences, if let's say you are teaching them, if let's say you are teaching types of mountains, or if one of your objectives is on types of mountains, you can let the learners engage in what we call an excursion, where they will visit various places of what? Mountains. It's a learning experience. You can also use pictures of mountains to teach. You can also let the learners read about types of mountains. Are you okay? If you are teaching types of fishing and you have captured types of fishing as one of your objectives, at the end of the day, you can let the student visit the various places of fishing. You can invite a resource person to your class. Then you can let the learners read about types of what? Fish. These are what we call the learning experiences. So I define learning experience as the interaction between learners or interaction between teacher and the learners. Then, and the external conditions of the environment through which the students can what? Can react. So the external conditions of the environment through which the learners could react might include group of people, might include natural and man-made objects, can be types of behaviors that impinge on the character of what? The learner. Sanctions, regulations, and what? And laws. All these are some examples of the external conditions, okay? External conditions that the learners can what? Can react. So please, have you understood what we call the selecting of learning experience?
Yes, sir.
Then the third phase on the letter is organization of learning experiences. Organization of learning experiences. So the question is, how can learning experience be organized for effective instruction? How? What it means that you have selected the learning experiences as the second phase. How are you going to sequence? How are you going to arrange the learning experience? How are you going to order the learning experience? How are you going to make the learning experience so logical so that at the end of the day, the students will be able to what? Able to understand whatever learning experience being selected. Do you understand? So the organization of the learning experience has to do with one, arrangement of the learning experience to make meaning. We are looking at how you are going to sequence the learning experience, how that you are going to order them so that they communicate whatever intention that you have to. Sometimes you might have developed a lot of learning experiences, but if you are unable to sequence, if you are unable to arrange, EMS basic, abeg, mute yourself. EMS basic. So I am saying that sometimes you might have selected a lot of learning experiences, but if you are unable to sequence and order, if you are not able to put the learning experience in a coherent manner, the students wouldn't able to what? Understand whatever that you mean. So selection of the learning experience is important, but how you organize them is also very important. Then the last phase of the model is evaluation. The last phase of the tiling model is evaluation of students' performance. So here we ask ourselves, how can the effectiveness of learning experience be evaluated? So how can we judge the objective through the learning experience? Are you okay? How can the effectiveness of learning experience be evaluated? When we talk of evaluation, evaluation has to do with what we call value judgment. Hello? Evaluation has to do with value judgment. In evaluation, we talk about judging the quality of something. In a classroom situation or in curriculum development, when we talk of evaluation, we would want to talk about the WORT, WORTH, the merit or the significance of the curriculum. So how do we judge that a given curriculum has been effective? We do that by testing the learners that have been exposed to that kind of curriculum by the use of various assessment tools. Please, are you okay?
Yes, please, we are okay.
Okay. So my good friends, I've given you a minute. Just look at the phases of the tireless model and bring your criticisms. Criticize his model of curriculum development. I have said that in exam, you can be asked to write on the various phases. So you can be asked to write on the phases of the tireless model, or more or less relevance of the tireless model. Relevance of the tireless model. So what we are going to do now is the criticisms that were leveled against the tireless model. Please, have you studied the diagram well?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like first of all, we taking the learning objective before even starting it makes it a good thing because you can't have a lesson without knowing where you're heading for. So that's very good. Also, I
Auntie
feel like
Khadija, Auntie Khadija, okay, turn a bit because your line is breaking. Breaking. We are not getting it. And come again, because we didn't hear.
hello.
Yeah, hello. And also raise your voice a bit. Raise your voice.
That I didn't even have to don't achieve by the end of the lesson. By the end,
Still, we can't hear.
so
We can't hear. We can't hear. Your network is not good.
yeah. Please, is it okay now? Hello.
Yeah,
Please, is it okay now?
yeah. Raise your voice. It's okay. A bit okay.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that with Tyler's model and with regards to the objectivity of this uh, theory, first of all, it is a good thing for a teacher to have intended goals at the end of every lesson delivery.
Yes.
But because you can actually have a lesson without knowing where you're heading for or where you're even teaching the lesson in the first place.
Yes.
But I feel like with that same time, the teacher ignores creativity and the unintended learning outcomes. And it makes it teacher centered also because in that case, you have planned your lesson and then you have intended, you have a objective that you want to achieve by the end of the lesson. So you ignore creativity of the learners. You don't even want to know what they have to offer with regards to what you are teaching or how they will
Okay.
be able to grasp the concept.
Okay, Auntie Khadija,
So,
thank you very much.
okay.
Thank you very much. I like your contribution. Just that your line was breaking. Was breaking. Maxwell.
Right, thank you very much. I think that in respect to Tyler's model, evaluation is very, very important when it comes to curriculum designing and its implementation.
Okay.
It is the evaluation that will tell us whether the curriculum has been effective or not. But the problem I have with Tyler's model is the fact that when you look at where the evaluation has been paid, you would realize that the evaluation is done at the end of the course. And I
Yes.
think that is quite problematic. Because if the student is not being assessed or the evaluation is not done from time to time, we wait till the end of the course. Don't you think that that can also be a problem? That is the only challenge I have with this model.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So, but evaluation is at the last stage of his model, which is not good. If that is the case, then when there is defect, when there is error, when there is a mistake, when there is frustration on the mind of the learner, are you okay? When there's a problem in a given curriculum, it cannot be realized at the early stage. Okay, the child has to carry such kind of problem or the error or defect till the last phase. For that matter, that kind of defect cannot be corrected. If it is, please mute yourself. If there is defect on any of the phases, patients, I beg, mute yourself. If there is any defect on any phase of the curriculum, okay, because it can only be known at the last phase, the defect will be there. If even it's being corrected at the last phase, we can't go up there and correct it because the model, okay, is in a particular kind of structure. The elements on the elements in the framework is in the form of a particular structure, such a way that when that is being created and being reduced at the last phase, we can't go there and make correction. So the men, when being caused, will be there till that end don't come. Please, are you making sense? Okay. Let's look at the next criticism. Yeah. Let me hear from you. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Who?
Sir, please, I would say it is time consuming. Please.
Why is it time consuming?
Hello, sir.
Why is it time consuming?
It is time consuming because his model is too broad. Looking at even the explanation of the objectives,
Hey.
of which you talk about the source of society, subjects, students, those falls on the objectives. From objectives, we come to the selecting of learning experiences. That makes it to be good for me. Thank you.
I think by the time we are done with other models, that your assertion that his model is broad will be kicked out of the criticisms. So let's wait and see what will happen. Yeah, another hand is up. Yeah, let's hear you. Hello, talk.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, John.
Yeah. With regard to Teller's phases of the curriculum, I would say if one is not also resourceful, it will be difficult for one to come out with these things. So it will rather involve a lot of money. Why am I saying this? Before his objective, he came to the society. One cannot know a society much if research is not done on that society. So, and I believe that before one will be able to do research work, a lot involved. Cost must involve because questionnaires must serve to know the behavior, the culture, the values, the norms that that society carries on. So with Taylor's adding society to his distance, it will it will also cost a lot. That is how I'm also seeing it.
Yes. Yes. You have your own opinion. Thank you. You have also raised your concern. Okay. Opinions are like noses. You say okay, they are not the same. So you have aired your view. You have aired your view. Thank you. Let's move on to the next person. Yeah. Is somebody ready?
Hello, sir.
I don't know you. If you don't put up your hand and you say hello, sir. Yeah, who are you? Is that Sandra or Asidua? Who? Or Santewa?
No, sir, please, it was Agnes.
Age? Age on Pekasa and yeah, Age. Let's hear from you.
Okay, so I wanted to say that since the first step of the model is objectives and the final step is evaluation, teachers will be tempted to evaluate. Teachers will be tempted to teach what can be easily testable,
Yes.
rather than add ones.
Yes, evaluation is at the last phase of his curriculum. If that be the case, then I am a teacher. I will only teach those that I think I will evaluate at the end of the day. No one can beat me. So some teachers would attempt to teach only those that they can what? They can evaluate. There are a lot of things that when you go to class you teach. But at the end of the day, it's not all that you want to evaluate. So if evaluation is at the last phase, then definitely I will decide not to teach that plenty things that I am supposed to teach, which I am not going to evaluate, but I will teach only those that I would evaluate. That is also there. So it's one of the weaknesses. Next. Okay, so another is that his model is linear and too simple. The model is what? Linear and too what? Simple. Somebody said the model was broad. It was based on this that I said by the time that we are done with all the other models, that his point will be kicked out. His model was in a straight line form, was in a line form, and was more like too straight and too simple. It is of only 4 phases. Other models that we are going to talk about, you see that they are more than these phases. It is in a line form, and I'm saying that it is also too what? It is too simple. It is in a line form because his model, okay, follows a step-by-step sequence. Are you okay? This is the reason why we are saying his model is linear and rather too simple. I am saying that it is so because his model seems to be what? Fixed and step-by-step sequence. It has a clear starting point and a clear ending point, and you are meant to proceed from one step to the next in a straight what? Line. And looking at how that he structured his model until all the processes and steps in one phase is completed, okay, you can't move to the other phase. I am saying that until you are able to complete all the steps, processes in a particular phase, you can't move to the next phase. Okay, so here we can say that the phases are not interactive. The phases are not interactive. They are not interrelated. They are not connected. That is why we are saying that evaluation does occur at the last phase. If the phases happen to be connected, then we can say that the objective can be connected to the evaluation, then definitely we can say that evaluation can occur at every stage of the model. But because it's a straight line, it is not a circular form, the faces are not connected, we are saying that the model is too linear and too simple. Okay. Then we can also say that it is not practical to draw a long list of objectives. It is not practical to draw a long list of objectives. What we are saying that to come out with several kind of objectives, it's also not practical. It's not easy. It is not too simple. Are you okay? And we can also say that education is too complex an activity to reduce to the achievement of stated number of objectives. You see, I said his model is called an objective-based model. Okay. So the emphasis is on objectives. And we want to say that education is too broad, though. It can only be limited to a given number of objectives that should be stated. It goes beyond that. So we can say that it's difficult to define exactly what an objective is like. When does an aim become an objective? How specific can objective be? How do we come by what? Objectives. So the objective that he stated, okay, has led to these questions. That it is difficult to define exactly what an objective is like. When does an aim become an objective? How specific can an objective be? And how do we come by what? Objectives. So when we start to grade these questions, then it tells us that that objective-based model has some kind of weaknesses. Okay, or even basing a curriculum specifically on an objective, we should also know that education cannot be reduced to a given number of objectives that has to be attained. It goes beyond that. Yes. So because of the criticisms that were leveled against the Tyler's model, okay, it led to variations on this model. Okay. So because of the fact that many criticisms were leveled against his model, there were some other individuals who also thought that if Tyler had added some other issues to his model, it could have been an effective kind of model, or it could be a worthwhile kind of model. So let's see what people thought should have been added to make his model a complete one. So Derham 2002 suggested that when designing a Tyler's model, students' emotions, feelings, beliefs, and intellect should be a focal point. That if you're a teacher and you want to develop a curriculum, okay, based on the Tyler's model, then it means that the feelings of the students, the intellect of the students, the emotions of students have to be taken into consideration. This is what Derham said. Please, all what that we are saying here, take notice of them, because objective tests, there are a lot of things that you see. If you didn't give it a maximum attention, you can't score it. For the theory, I know you have something to write, but for the objective, if you are not careful and you just read, you just do skimming without paying attention to some important issues, my friend, it wouldn't be simple for you. Then Derham also stressed that children's interests must be identified so that they can serve as the focus of the educational attention, which then lead to basis for selecting what? Objectives. Yes. The interests of the learners are very important. If we don't focus on the interest of the learner in the development of any educational intention, at the end of the day, we will develop whatever curriculum that we would want to, but we will not have students that will learn. Okay, we will not have students that are going to learn, because whatever that we have put in there might not be at the interest of the learners. So when we are able to focus on the interest of the learner, it will serve as basis of selecting what? The objectives. Okay, my good friends, we have come to the end of the pilot model. Let's move on to that of the feeless model. Feeless model. Feeless model. Please, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so now, feeless model of curriculum design is an improvement of tireless model.
So still the network breakage issue.
Sometimes too, it could be as a result of your network, your area, or where that you are. You always attribute to the failure of your network to man. Okay, please, is it a bit okay? Is it a bit okay now? Okay.
Sir, please, we are receiving echoes. It's like echoes from yours.
Okay, echoes. Okay, let me come again. You don't leave. Don't leave. Hello.
Hi.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's continue. So we are looking at the wheelless model. Is the network okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. There are a lot of you who have left the page. I told you that you should wait because I was trying to find a stable network and most of you have left. Okay, so we are saying that the wheelless model of curriculum design is an improvement upon tireless model. Wheeler developed what we call a cyclical model. Evaluation in the wheelless model is not terminal. In his cyclical model, the result of the evaluation gives feedback to the curriculum planner or designer. These results bring in changes into the objectives and the goals, which influence other stages. Wheeler's model is therefore presented as continuous process, which is constantly in a state of change as a new information and practices become available. These are some of the features of the models, or some of the characteristics of his model. We can say that the wheelless cyclic model is an offshoot of tireless model. Why are we saying that the wheelless model is an offshoot of tireless model? It is so because the criticisms put against Tyler that his model is too simple, among others, is what Wheeler capitalizes to build his model. According to Wheeler, the basic assumption of which his model thrives is that the end of education is a change of behavior. The change behavior should be positive to prompt improvement in behavior and experiences for better. That will be seen to have deviated from its aims. What we are saying is that, according to him, the aim of education has to do with the change of behavior. So if at the end of the day, that intention is not being realized, then it means that it has been, a curriculum has been deviated from what is expected, because change of behavior, which should be positive, should be the end. The end in what? In view. So if that is not being attained, then it means that the curriculum has deviated from its intention. So we are saying that the wheelless model is an offshoot of the tireless model. What does it mean? What it means that Wheeler capitalizes on the weaknesses that were leveled against Tyler, and based on that, he was able to develop a model. That tireless model is cyclical in nature. Why is it cyclical? His model follow a particular cycle. Evaluation in Wheeler's model is not terminal. Evaluation doesn't come at the end of the model. Are you okay? In this cyclical model, the result of evaluation give feedback to the curriculum what? Designer. So when evaluation is not terminal and it could take place at any stage, then the feedback that we would able to attain, then we can use that to cause some kind of reformation or change in the model. So we say that these results bring in changes into the objectives and goals which influence other stages. So because it is cyclical, you see that the aim, the goals, and objectives are linked to the evaluation. So when goals, the aims and objectives are being reviewed, are being reformed, it would affect the other stages. That is why we are saying that it is cyclical. So look at how the phases of his model look like. Please, do you have it? It is in the form of what? Cycle. That is why we say it is cyclical. We have 8 goals and objectives as one. Then that would help for the selection of what? The learning experience. Then the selection of experience will also help to select the content. Then the selection of content, we have the organization and integration of the learning experience and the content. Then we have the last one, evaluation. But we are saying that this evaluation is connected to the goals and objectives. So if there is any kind of feedback as a result of the aims, goals, and objectives, that can affect the other stages. So this one is not like that of the Tyler's model, which was linear. This one is what? Cyclical. This is one of the comprehensive models of curriculum development. So in exam, when you are being asked, among the curriculum model, the one that is most comprehensive, it is that of what? The Wheeler's model. Please, are you there? Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so now, let's compare that of the Tyler's model and that of the Wheeler's model and bring our distinction. Tell me, what are the differences between the Tyler's model and Wheeler's model? Yeah. Barbara.
One of the differences is that Tyler's model is in a linear form, whilst Wheeler's model is in a cyclic form.
Yes. What else? What else? Why are you not talking? Yes, Ame.
So, please, Tyler's evaluation is terminal, but Wheeler's evaluation is not terminal.
Okay. EMS basic.
Yes, sir, please, with Tyler's model, he has 4 main components, which are the objective selection of experience, organization of learning experience, and then the evaluation.
Okay.
But with Wheeler, he has 5 phases, which are aims, goals, objectives, and in that order. And the evaluations also at the end as well.
Okay. Next. You can add more.
So with Tyler's model as well, there is no separate components as content, but with that of Wheeler, components are separated from learning experiences.
So we are saying that when we pick that of the Tyler's model, you wouldn't have a separate component as content. Okay, but when you pick that of the Wheeler's model, you would have a content as a separate component from the learning experience. Okay. Then Tyler's model was developed by Ralph Tyler in 1940s. But that of the Wheeler's model, okay, was also developed by D.K. Wheeler in 1967. So these are the differences. These are the differences. Now, let's look at the strength. This time, we will look at the strength before we look at the weaknesses. Pay attention. I've seen this question somewhere. Students were asked to write on the strength of the Wheeler's model. The strength of what? The Wheeler's model. Okay. Or when you are being asked to write on the implications. When you are being asked to write on the implications of the Wheeler's model, you can write the strength of the Wheeler's model. You can write on the strength, they are the same. Most occasions, questions are posed on the Wheeler's model, most occasions. So you can be asked to write on the strength of the Wheeler's model or the implications of the Wheeler's model. If you get it as strength, then you are good to go. They are the same. So let's look at the strength of the Wheeler's model. 1. What are the strength of the Wheeler's model? Yes, Sammy.
Sir, please. The model presents curriculum as a continuing activity. That is, it goes round and comes back to itself, where it is accessible, or you can evaluate in the course of the activities.
Yes. So the model would want to tell us that, okay, curriculum development is not one-way activity. Are you okay? But rather, it's what? A continuing activity. Where you see that one stage is being connected to another. Or it will still want to tell you that curriculum development is a process where each stage is connected to one another, such a way that there will be proper feedback. Okay? There will be proper feedback to the curriculum designers so as to factor them or make decisions out of that. Yeah? What else? Yeah.
Question, please. Because my question is that in with this cyclical nature Does it mean that if we get to the evaluation stage and after evaluation we are not able to meet the objectives required, are we going back to the aims, goals, and objectives again to go and start all over again or reframe the objective again?
Yes. So because you see, that is where we have the connection. You make changes in the objective, the goals, and at the end of the day, such will have effect on the other components, unlike the other models that we have talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, what are the other strengths of the wheelless model?
So please, the model incorporates new information to the curriculum.
Yeah, that is so, because when there is a defect and it's being corrected, whatever information that we have been able to attain at a given stage can be added. Are you okay? Can be added to the subsequent stages. Unlike the previous one, where if there's new information, it cannot be added to the subsequent pages or the new stages or phases. This one, a new information can be obtained, it can be added to the stages that are below. Then the model view curriculum elements as interrelated and interdependent. So you see the elements are connected. They are interrelated. That is why I'm saying that when there's a change in the aims and objectives, okay, as a result of maybe evaluation, it can affect the other stage because of the arrangement that the elements find themselves. Then the model has a feedback mechanism. We have talked about that one in the previous one, feedback mechanism. Then the model also emphasizes situational what? Analysis. Situational analysis. What do we mean by the model emphasizes on the situational analysis? Situational analysis is the investigation into particular society. Are you okay? Or into particular situation. So that we find detail of some problems or some needs about a particular thing, so that can be factored in the development of a particular thing. So the situational analysis that we have raised here is the first step or is the first stage that we have to consider or we consider in developing a curriculum. Martin, the first stage in developing a curriculum or designing a curriculum is what is known as a situational analysis. So if situational analysis is here, then it means that when we are designing the curriculum, even the objective that is there, okay, we can't just develop the objective just like that. It should have some kind of maybe sources. And we are able to have the sources from the maybe society. Are you okay? Where you consider the needs, the problems, and the aspirations that are available, so that at the end of the day, the learners that will go through whatever knowledge that has to do with the society would be able to deal with the societal problems when they later revisit the society, or when they later get to the society to provide or to contribute their quota towards development. So the model also allows constant evaluation. Evaluation can take place at any point in time. It's not like the other one where evaluation does occur at the final stage. So these are what we call the implications of the wheelless model. I've stressed on that. Or the strength. When even you are being asked to talk about the advantage, you still have to write these things. What are the weaknesses? What are some of the weaknesses of the model? What are the weaknesses? Hello? Yeah,
Hello. Sir, please, it does not show the procedure between organizing and integrating learning experiences, as well as the content and then the evaluation.
Yes. So what do we mean here? There's a component of it that talks about. There's a component that talks about organization and integration of learning experience and content. So we want to know the procedure, the criteria in integrating, in organization and integrating of what? The learning experience, the content and others that was mentioned. Do you get it? If you are to organize and integrate learning experience, content and evaluation, there should be maybe what we call points that we have to consider so that we can organize the procedure that we have to follow so that we can integrate learning experience, content, and evaluation. It has been stated that, but the procedure, the criteria was not what stated, or they were not captured. So it's a weakness. Please, do you understand it? Then it is time consuming. It is what? Time consuming. It is true. Because they are interrelated. Okay? Evaluation could occur at every stage. And because evaluation is not terminal, then it will demand that the teacher is able to develop various evaluation techniques so that he would evaluate at any point in time that is necessary. Then, because of the fact that it can be evaluated, the feedback mechanism should also be used to affect the other phases of the curriculum. It would lead to reformation. Are you okay? It would lead to some kind of innovation, some kind of creativity. All these things put some kind of burden on even the teacher, and also it does consume time. It takes time. Then the objectives include behavioral characteristics which have some limitation when it comes to what? To execution. We want to say that the objective that we are talking about, okay, should be seen in the behavioral terms. Do you know that classroom objective that you set for your lesson should be stated in the behavioral sense? Behavioral sense here means that the kind of behavior that you want learner to demonstrate at the end of the day. So as you are teaching, you are learning and you are teaching, okay, should guide the learner to display some kind of behaviors. So we are saying that the objective that you state during your lesson or your instruction should guide the learner to demonstrate some kind of behaviors. Are you there? And we are saying that in trying to use your objective to monitor some kind of behaviors, sometimes it is not easy. It is very difficult. They say that behavioral characteristics which have some limitations when it comes to execution. It is true that objectives should be monitored. Objectives should be stated in a behavioral sense. So as a teacher, as you are teaching, you would have to find out the kind of behavior that learners are showing in the course of teaching and learning. Are you okay? And doing that is something that is not easy. It is difficult. So it's also a weakness. Are we making sense? Onkasa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I say,
Okay,
so to accurate,
yeah.
from the beginning of on this particular video, they say the objectives must be drawn based on a set behavior of the child, also what the the mood of the child, if I'm not lying, the behavior of the child. And what I want to add to it is that the behavior of a child will not be the feelings of the student, the belief of the student, the intellect of the student.
Yes.
Now, all these things can be faked by the students. If I'm not lying, it can be faked by the student. It is very. This is not. This is let me say like this is like an abstract something, an abstract now which can be faked. So there's no way you can get the actual mood of somebody, the feeling of somebody.
Okay,
So that is.
it is not on the wheelless model. It is on the tireless model. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Manopo.
It was a tireless model that said somebody criticized him and said that if we are to go by the tireless model, then there's a need for us to maybe focus on such aspect of what of the learner or the child, so that at the end of the day we can develop that particular curriculum to suit the learner. It's not that of what the wheeler. So get to know the distinction between the two. So now we are moving on to the next. We are moving on to the next developer, okay, and that is Taba. 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 So let's move on to that Taba model. We are looking at the Taba model. Taba was a woman, okay. Taba was a female. So she was held at Taba, believed that everyone is designed by teachers rather than handed down by a higher authority. Said that
Hello,
she
sir.
felt,
Excuse
yeah.
me, sir, the network is breaking on.
Okay. Hello, is it a bit okay?
Yes, yes, and now it's okay. Very good.
Okay, so I am saying that the developer is known as Hilda Taba, and she believed that the curriculum should be designed by teachers rather than handed down by higher authority. Further, she felt that teachers should begin the process by creating specific teaching learning units for their students in their school, rather than by engaging initially in creating a general curriculum design. Taba advocated an inductive approach to curriculum development. In this approach, curriculum experts begin with the specific objectives and gradually build them upon to a general blueprint. Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so according to this woman, pay attention. Curriculum should be designed by teachers rather than being developed by some higher authorities and being handed down to the teacher. Why? Because Hilda said that teacher is the one who is aware of the needs of the learner. Teacher is the one who is aware of the interest of the learner. Teacher is familiar about the nature of the learner and the environment So he or she should be given the opportunity to develop the curriculum that affect the child and implement it at the end of the day. And Taba said that when teachers are developing the curriculum, they should begin the process by creating some kind of specific learning unit. Okay, they should try to create what we call specific objectives at the initial stage, so as to build on that kind of specific objective to a general kind of objectives. So we say that Taba advocated for what we call an inductive approach to curriculum development. The inductive approach to the curriculum development, it is whereby we start the development of the curriculum from a specific objective and build upon that to a general objective. So we are looking at building upon specific to a general, from specific to general. It's what we are calling it an inductive approach. Are you okay? So in this approach, curriculum experts begin with a specific objective and gradually build them up to a general blueprint, that is a general objective. We have some kind of curriculum developers who would have the general objectives. Are you okay? And through that general objective, they would later split the general objective into specific what? Objective. So as Taba was talking about the inductive approach to the curriculum development, that of Tyler was also talking about the deductive approach. Because if you do recall, there was a general objective that had the various sources. And it was through that kind of general objective that was splitted into precise or a specific what? Objectives. So get it today that Taba advocated for what? Inductive approach to curriculum development. But that of the Tyler was based on what? Deductive approach. Please, are we okay up to this point? If you are okay, then let's move on. So now, let's look at the model, the structure, the framework. Please, is the network okay?
Yes, please, it's okay, very good.
So when you follow the structure or the framework, you will see the first one being diagnosis of needs. Then the next one is formulating objectives. Then we have the third one, selecting content. We have organization of content. We have the selecting of learning experience. We have organization of learning experience. Then we have what? Evaluation. Evaluation. So if you see this model, you will see that it does also have a kind of arrangement that can also be linked to that of the Tyler's model. But you see, this one is a bit comprehensive because the steps are about 7. So the diagnosis of the needs over there, according to Helga Taba, meant that the curriculum developer, for instance, the teacher, should behave like a doctor. The teacher has to diagnose the need of the student and at the end of the day, provide some kind of prescription that will help the patient to be active. So diagnosis of needs of the student. What do you seek to what? To know. The teacher has to know the kind of previous knowledge that the child has. So when you are developing the curriculum, the diagnosis of needs mean here is that you have to find out the previous knowledge of the child. Then from there, you would also look at the right piece of information that the child does not have. So we call it the gap in the learner's knowledge. Then you find out the kind of knowledge that has to be provided. What is the previous knowledge of the child? What is the gap? Or, okay, let's put it this way. After looking at the previous knowledge of the child, then you consider the kind of knowledge that the child has interest in it and would want to learn. So that is the knowledge that you have to provide. Then from there, you look at the gap in the knowledge, because previous knowledge is there, and then you look at the new knowledge where the child has the interest. Then you look at the gap between the two. The gap is the vacuum, the kind of knowledge that has not been provided. Because the gap will help you, the developer, to know the kind that you have, the kind of space that is there that you have to fill. So it is based on the diagnosis of need that you can formulate what? The objectives. You can coin objectives. When you are able to form the objective, then you have to look at the kind of content. The kind of content that will be in line with the objective. After the kind of content, then you have to organize the content. I've told you that the organization of the content is how to arrange the content in order, or how to sequence the content. How you have to make the content logical. Then you have to select learning experience. I've explained the meaning of learning experience. Then organization of the learning experience here also means that you still have to arrange the learning experience in order. Then evaluation is also there. So the teacher is in the middle. The teacher input. The teacher is in the middle. So is the teacher that does all the various things. So you have the teacher input. Are you okay? Diagnosis of the student's needs, objective formulation, selection of content, organization of content, selection of learning activities, organization of learning activities, then evaluation. So you see, the teacher will do all those things, but you realize that evaluation is not being connected to the diagnosis of the student's what needs. If you look at the arrows, please, do you have the picture?
Yes, doctor.
Do you have the picture? Please. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I said in exam you can be asked to describe the phases. So that is there. If you go there, one, the diagnosis of learner needs and expectation of the larger society. What does it mean? Yeah, the explanation is there. Tyler believed that teachers were aware of what students need, so they should be the main creators of what the curriculum. Formulation of the learning experience. What do they mean? Development of overall goals originated from the variety of sources, such as what the demands of the society and the needs of what the students are there. So please read them. Let's look at the Tabes model. Are you okay? And look at the strengths. What do you think are the strengths of the Tabes model? Bring them out. What are the strengths?
Uh, it uses the inductive method. That is for specific purpose. Please.
Is it? Yes, Edua. I said, yeah,
Okay,
Selena.
sir. Sir, it gives teachers a greater role by not just making them implement the curriculum, but also developers.
Yes. So one strength of his model is that it gives teachers greater role of developing the curriculum and also implement it at the end of the day. Yeah, what else? The other from you.
Yes, sir, please. Yes, it uses the inductive method that is from specific to general, which means that it takes information from the ground before taking it to the upper level. So the real and natural information, the needs of the child is considered very well, and then objective is built on the child's needs, but not a situation where somebody who doesn't even know the needs of the child brings a curriculum for us to teach without knowing what the needs of the child is, the mood of the child and all that. But this one, it considers the needs of the child from the grounds and everything, the environment of the child, and then build a curriculum on it. Thank you.
Okay, so we are trying to say that Helder Taba made use of what we call a bottom-up approach to the curriculum development. Bottom-up approach to curriculum development.
Yes.
Tyler made use of what? Mm-hmm. And this one is bottom-up. That of Tyler is what? Top-down approach to curriculum development. That is the didactic. Okay, next, strength. Next. Okay, so the curriculum lays emphasis on students' needs, interest, and societal aspiration. It's true. Okay. So we can also say that teachers are aware of students' needs, therefore develop purposeful objective in order to establish what to include, exclude, and emphasize in the curriculum. That is also true. One weakness of the Tabes model is that the workload of the teacher will be too much. Okay, there will be greater amount of workload on the teacher because the teacher will have to develop the curriculum and also implement it at the end of the day. Also, the model provides for many of the learning needs of gifted students. If you look at the model, this model would be there to provide the needs of the gifted students. But those that are not being gifted, those that are not gifted, okay, will not be looked at in a way that the gifted will be taken care of with reference to this model. So, however, average students may find it difficult to participate actively in class owing to the fact that the open-mindedness inherent in the model demands higher levels of thinking and discovery learning. What we mean is that the model take into consideration gifted students. So those that are average students will not be taken into consideration. So what you mean that if you are not an open-minded kind of individual, if you are somebody who is not critical thinker, if you are somebody who do not have a higher kind of thinking or higher kind of ability, you will find it difficult to adjust to this kind of a model. So it is a weakness.
Sir, please.
Yeah.
Sir, please.
Yes.
On the last point, would that happen if the teacher wants to be biased in his selection of the kind of student he wants to develop an objective on? Although one disadvantage may be that the teacher can be biased, yes, but on the point you just explained, I'm asking that won't that only happen if the teacher wants to be biased? But the teacher who doesn't want to be biased will consider the need of every child in developing a model.
Okay. We are saying that looking at the model, because we are considering the interest of the learner, it's like students will be given a greater opportunity to function, okay, function to maybe use their talents. And if that be the case, then they will harness the talents of what of the learners. So we assume that those that are talented or gifted will be able to function more because opportunities will be given for them to what to excel. It is as a result of that we are saying that because of open-mindedness that will be inherited in the curriculum, to create some kind of higher thinking or discovery learning. So if you are a student that is weak, then maybe you would struggle before you function in this curriculum. What you're saying may also be true. If the teacher would want to promote development of all, then I think you could use this model to do that. But on the other hand, too, maybe some of the units that do not have high ability can also be affected at the end of the day. Please, are you there? Okay, let's look at that Carl's model.
Hello, sir. The network. There's an
Hello, the network. Is network bad? Hello, is it okay now or still?
It's still, still.
Sawa,
It's breaking, yes.
breaking. Okay, so
Still.
I would want you to go and read. I would want you to go and read on the Kel's model. Are you okay? I would want you to go and read on the Kel's model. Our network is not helping us. So,
Okay, sir.
yeah, go and read on the Kel's model. The weaknesses, the various features, and others. When we meet next week, okay, we would look at different things. Are you okay? Read on the Kel's model and read on the go-based model. The go-based model. Read on them. The go-based model. These are your assignments. Go-based model. And that of the Kel's what? Model. When we meet next week, we will be talking about what we call the um, selection of content and that of the learning experience in the teaching and learning of what? Social studies. So you have that slides, go and read on them so that you'll be able to contribute. When we are able to finish on that, then we would look at situational analysis and others next week. So I have given you assignment. Go and read that of the Kel's model, and that of what the
Go
go
based.
based, yes, go based model. So thank you for coming today. If you have
Thank you,
questions on
sir.
what we
Thank you,
have
sir.
done today, you can raise them and we will look at it. Any question? Okay. Yeah, Kobina.
Yes, sir. Sir, please, looking at the weaknesses that we discussed right now on tab-based model,
Yeah.
can you look at the activity-based curriculum?
Can we do what?
Link it to
Yeah.
activity-based curriculum.
Yeah, you can link it. Even if you look at the assertions of Taba, you realize that those things that she was preaching, okay, were similar to the information that about maybe 80%, okay, can be linked to that of the activity or experience-based kind of curriculum. Yes. Yes. Most of
All
the
right,
things
thank you
that
very much.
she raised are in line with the
So,
activity-based curriculum. Thank you very much.
to add up the standard-based curriculum that we are using in Ghana currently,
Yes,
standard-based
also have.
curriculum, I think
It's,
that is also a good example of the activity-based curriculum. Thank you.
yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.